Hey guys, Big Al from Big Al's Garage here. Do a little update on the channel finally. I know it's been a while and I'm pretty bad about that, but you know, just a guy in his garage having some fun, and love to race once in a while and kind of just here and there when I get a second. But wanted to update everything on the channel and kind of get us prepped for Rocky Mountain Race Week 2024. And as you can see sitting here, we've changed the vehicle a little bit this year compared to last year and the year before. So I've went on race week in 21, 22, 23. 23, my wife actually raced her Explorer ST, and then 21 and 22, I had a Whipple supercharged S550 that I had ran, and had a great experience every year I've went. I actually got on race week at the request of some friends that were doing it, and went with them, and I've been hooked ever since. So it's a great event, and there's pretty much something for everybody, and everybody always has a good time. You're slow, fast, it really doesn't matter. It's all about just having fun, meeting new people, seeing old friends, and just having fun through the week, doing what us gearheads and racers love to do. Hang out, race, things like that. So, excuse me, quick note here. So my other car, my S550, ended up selling. As you know, we've lost our racetrack here at SRCA in Great Bend, Kansas for the time being, and while the situation gets figured out there. So really my other car, the only purpose it had was just to sit here in the garage, and we could take it out on the weekends once in a while. But you know, with a family, 4 doors is a little bit easier to work with. So I thought about it a little bit and told myself that I could probably do without, and we'd try a little something new. And I love to try new things and new technology. So, I mean, it made perfect sense to grab onto something like the Mach-E here and see what we could do. So I had a viewer send me this, which was really thoughtful, and as a memento to the other vehicle, the S550. And so that was really nice. Thank you for that. And that kind of sits in my garage here, and I can look at it and just reminisce. But very nice, very thoughtful. So for this year on race week, we're going to try getting the Mach-E through the week. And you know, a new vehicle, normally that's not a big deal. It's going to run, drive, make the mechanical side of it for the most part through the week, no problem. You know, depending on how modified it is, of course. But obviously the Mach-E is a different story, because our fuel source is not dispensed at every corner, if you will. It's akin to probably like trying to find ethanol to some degree. So it's a little bit difficult, a little bit challenging. And the thing with race week is, these are from years past, if you've never been on or seen how race week works. But when you turn in your time slip for the day, you're given the route for the day to get to the next track. And you don't know this till you turn in your slip for the day. So when we sit here and look at where we're going to go, you could look at it on a map and say, I'm going to Ennis, Texas tomorrow, Tulsa, Moken. But we're not going straight line. We're not going the way, you know, Google Maps will take you. They'll hand you this when you turn in your time slip, and they'll say, well, here's how you get there. So not knowing the route ahead of time poses a challenge, especially in a vehicle like this, to where you know, you gotta keep it charged, you gotta keep it fueled. And the fuel stations are just not as popular, or as close, I guess you should say. Excuse me. So the biggest thing is, we have to plan our routes carefully, and we also have to watch where we're going. And so luckily, I've kind of looked ahead, and we'll pull up a map here of what's called Plug Share. It's something that a lot of EV drivers use, and we can look at it and tell kind of where, you know, all the charging stations are. It helps us plan trips when we take a long trip, versus, you know, what the in-dash in the car tells you to stop at, etc. It's kind of a tool to use with it. And so I've looked at this map here, and I was able to determine that there's actually a lot of infrastructure in Oklahoma and Texas. So I think we should be okay. But again, we're just not going to know till we get that route. We're going to run this in the 13.0 class. If you've never ran an index class, what that pretty much means is that we have to basically hit a 13-second flat as close to quarter mile as we can at each track. And at the end of the week, they average all of those, and whoever's got the lowest average in that class wins your class. So there's other classes, excuse me, on race week, and this is the one that, you know, I like, Racing Index. The car fits really well in that class, so that's the class we're going in. As far as charging, we do have one other option. I've got this electron vortex plug that I can use, and I've used it before, works really well, but it allows us to charge at a lot of Tesla supercharger sites, the ones that are open to, right now just Ford and Rivian, but there'll soon be more cars. But this is basically allows the CCS1 plug here, which is pretty much everything non-Tesla, with the exception of your CHAdeMO cars. But pretty much this is what we use on most everything. And it allows us to go to Tesla superchargers. So this opens up some charging options for us while on the road. And that way, if one of these other chargers is down, we can simply go to the Tesla site if there's one close. And typically there's more of those available than there is the normal CCS charging stations. So usually a better option to find a Tesla site if possible, at least the way it sets now. But that presents another option. So this route sheet here, these are from 22 it looks like. This route sheet here, basically every time I break this route, so if I need to go charge and I'm traveling down the road here that it tells me to be on, and I have to turn off that road and go charge, then I've got to come back on exactly where I got off this route and then keep going. So if it's 20 miles off to charge, then it's 20 miles back when I'm done charging, and then we can go, and there's 40 minutes plus the charge time, which will run probably 20 to 30 minutes each session to get us back up to where we can take off and go again. So it can add up really quickly, and that's where it will get interesting to see our total mileage for the week and our total time spent on the route. We'll be pulling a trailer as well, U-Haul, a small U-Haul with this one, and that way, because we need to carry our campsite gear, you know, everything to survive for the week basically, because the car will basically just hold, you know, the occupants. There will be 2 of us driving this year, my wife and myself, and our luggage, you know, our hotel luggage stuff for the week. So we're also going to bring, just in case, a generator, and in the event that we are just unable to make the route as far as A to B and there's no chargers anywhere near, then we do have a roadside emergency option. I don't think it'll come to that. Looking at the chargers and the availability in the Oklahoma region and Texas region, that they've done a pretty good job of building out their electric vehicle charging infrastructure out there. So, but it's going to be a challenge, and with the range that the car gets, with the trailer attached, you know, with the air conditioner running, it could be pretty reduced range. You just never know until we get in the situation. Really windy out, that hurts too. We did a test run to Kearney, Nebraska recently. Everything went really well, but the gap from Hays, Kansas to Kearney, Nebraska, about 137 miles with about a 20 to 30 mile an hour headwind when we went up, knocked off about 20 miles of our available range, which actually put us at a slight deficit, which means you kind of have to slow down the speed. You can do several things on an EV to gain more range, and one of the biggest factors is just slowing down. Drop 5 miles an hour off and you can do quite a bit of extension, drop 10 off, etc. There's a point at which that pretty much diminishes. I don't know the maximum effective speed on this vehicle, but that is something you can look up and will help us too. But so it'll be rather interesting. We're going to have videos through the week of our struggles, hopefully not too many, and our trials and whatever else we run across here to get this thing to the finish line. But I think we can do it, and I think it's going to be a very exciting week. It'll be a very fun week regardless. Race week always is a really good time. It has been in all the years past that I have went, so I don't think this one will be any different. But we will get out there and see what happens, and stay tuned because we got lots of videos coming showing what's getting ready to happen.